We
Hey,
are
Dad, I have a burning question for you.
You do.
I do. Why do you insist on using multicultural emojis
Yeah, you do.
when you are a white man?
That is a good question.
Because they're available to me. I mean, why wouldn't I use them?
Hey, you know what? That's a satisfactory answer.
Yeah, thank you for that, Nick. I mean, I don't want to limit myself to one emoji.
To one color of emoji.
Exactly. Or any one particular style of emoji. I'm a free.
You want to make sure everybody who could possibly be included in our group chat, even though it's just the white family, would not be left out.
Well, it's
you
more
gotta
like
get.
he's an emoji fluid kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Man,
He's a non-binary emoji user.
Totally.
Got it.
Yes, thank you.
Got it.
Thank you for not assuming my emoji color.
You're welcome. It's the least I can do.
It is. It's appreciated. Hey, we got some reader mail this week that we're going to go through.
Oh,
I got a couple.
Very interesting.
Got a couple of saved things in my Reddit feed. Yeah, I actually did some show prep this week.
Stacked.
It's just loaded with content.
Loaded up.
Let's fucking get to it, boys.
All right. Welcome to A Shin Show. I'm joined, as always, by son Nick and daughter Sarah, both in an undisclosed location beneath a cornfield, underneath a sub-basement, in a bunker in the Midwest, somewhere. And I'm on the East Coast. I'm the paterfamilias, as it were, paterfamilias. Also on the East Coast, but in an undisclosed location, which will, of course, be clear in the fullness of time. So in any event, we're both here. All three of us are here. When I say both, I mean all three. We're both healthy. We're all healthy. And, we're feeling good, about ourselves. Brad's over here. I don't know. Brad, are you joining us? What's going on?
Drive-by Brad.
Yeah, drive-by Brad. It is a drive-by Brad appearance. He's actually leaving. He was just observing, just watching. I'm not going to say lurking. He did say stalking was a better word. In any event, so now he's gone, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. So let's get started with our usual personal news. News that's personal to you and me, and to others that they might find of interest. News of a new nature. That's not.
You don't have anything, do you?
No, I don't have anything. I don't. Although, I'm loath to walk on Elsie's news. I'm loath to do it because you know how she is. She'll say, "Oh, it was you stole my news," is what she'll say.
But she's not here.
She's not here, so I have to speak for her. I can't help it. It's not being some sort of paternalistic, even though I did identify myself as paterfamilias early. Still, this is not a paternalistic attempt to appropriate her own news, but it is pretty interesting. She built a garden on the side of our house out of straw bales, fence posts, and old pieces of wood that we had lying around.
Oh, that's cool. She did like raised beds?
Yeah, she did raised beds on straw and then worked into the topsoil on top of the straw, these soaker hoses. So, man, we're not worried about
Very
food.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was impressive. And she did it with no help from me, which was the best part. So Brad was actually a big part of that. And thank goodness I wasn't. So that really worked out well for me.
Yeah, so here's my personal news.
Yes.
We received a box of coffee from you guys that smells delicious.
Yes.
We haven't made any yet because it's the weekend, and the weekend is a free-for-all for scooters.
Oh, I see.
But it smelled really good. I did crack all three of them open and be like, I should make coffee right now, but it's 9:00 at night, so I showed some restraint.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't deserve any credit for that whatsoever. That's entirely and completely Elsie's deal right there. She did look up at me and say, "Do you mind if I send people a bunch of coffee?" I said, "No, do your thing." And so
whatever, man, do you?
Yeah, she did. She did her. But I did say it would be fine. So I guess you're right. I should take credit.
Yeah, because I said that.
I might have been reading between the lines there, but clearly you intended that I should get credit for that. Well, that's good news, Nick. Personal news for you?
No,
no, not gonna.
I've gotten all the way. All my personal news is like entertainment media stuff because that's all I've been doing.
I see. Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean,
So I'll save it for then.
Okay. Well, we might as well just get going on that because my personal news was, as usual, boring and, in fact, not even my own. Hey, we built a garden, only I didn't help. I just looked. I mean, I did mow the lawn though. So, and I weed ate. Is that the past tense
Weed
of
et.
weed eat? I weed ate.
Weed eated.
Yeah, I did weed eat.
Weed editing.
Yes, I edited the weeds with a trimmer around the edges. You see. So I did.
Very
do
cool.
something. Yeah, I mean, but that's
Nick,
not really news.
Yeah, Nick did come mow my lawn. That was nice. And then he
Just the
left
front.
without me noticing.
Oh, that's just all part of the service.
Just the front, though, because it was raining.
Right. And
because I said I was going to do it that day. I'm like, I'm going to do it today. I woke up and I went outside and it was fucking raining. And I was like, what the fuck? But then I was like, I'm cutting something. So I went over there and just mowed the front. I should do the back.
In the rain?
Well, it was a drizzle.
Yeah.
Light drizzle.
Yeah. You could, obviously, I didn't hear any complaints from Sarah about your treatment of the grass.
Listen, I'm not going to do it. So
I understand. Yeah. So did you guys do any work on your alternative show this week?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good.
So that will be coming your way shortly.
Good. No spoilers.
Well, you're a thing. You can look. Also,
that's
Dad.
true.
I invited you to look whenever you feel like it.
And that I need to do that more often. I've been kind of consumed with this.
Or at all.
This training that I was telling you about.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you should probably, do that first. That probably takes priority.
Well,
it should, but he doesn't feel like adulting, so.
Some say it is so, others say no. I mean, I'm doing this, right? So how adulting can I be at this point? I don't think I'm that adulting. Well, that's just, I guess that, why, man, when you're in quarantine, the personal news is pretty slim and far between, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching myself how to knit.
Oh. So crocheting isn't going to do it for me. So you can do a combination knit crochet project.
I could, but I don't think that that's usually a thing.
It seems like it should or could be a thing. It seems like you're knitting right now.
I am.
So I feel like you're cheating on the pod by knitting while you're on the pod.
No. I'm still fully engaged mentally, just physically,
I understand.
My hand's busy.
Oh, well, that's true. That's why I vape during the
I
pod.
have started crocheting on my Zoom meetings.
Really?
Yeah, because we don't typically do them with cameras. Like we just video call or whatever.
Yeah. And
10 out of 10 may start bringing crochet projects to my work, like just on the regular.
You're a multitasker is what you are, Well,
listen, so I have this time tracking software that keeps track of, the activities that I do. And I spend on average about 9 hours in internal meetings. That's not even counting my client meetings. So that's a lot of crochet time is all I'm saying.
That's true. I mean, I'm hoping for and anticipate at least a scarf for Christmas.
Oh, gee. Suddenly I forgot.
Scarves are a little bit more subtle and niche than you might think. You can't just knit a scarf. Okay, it's more of like a artisanal craftsman type deal.
Well, I consider Sarah to be an artisanal craftsman.
Wow.
Well, not yet.
Hey,
I hate
she's got some work to do.
Hey, guess what? Guess who just showed up?
I don't know.
No.
Fatso the Catso?
Again, wrong. No.
Some kind of humanoid? Oh, it's Noah.
Yeah. Wow. Try and tamp down your excitement, children.
He's late. What do you want from us?
I'm glad it's a humanoid.
That's true. It could have been. It could have been anything.
Could have been anything. Yeah, anyone or anything.
Right. I really didn't narrow it down at all.
It could have been Joe Biden. Come to regale us of his stories of when he was a lifeguard.
So let's go ahead and jump into some politics because I have a
fighting gangsters with straight razors.
And shit.
What the fuck do you guys think is happening in North Korea?
That's a great question.
Oh, he's fine. Actually, no. What I think it is that they're weekend at Bernie's ing it. Weekend at Bernie's -ing it with Kim Jung Un is what I'm thinking. Because he had fucked up brain surgery, or his brain was all fucked up, or his shit was all tarnished. I don't know, something. But the details were pretty slim. But then all of a sudden he's walking at the beach. There was just like photos of him at a resort. which is, I think it's
I have
obvious.
no idea what the fuck you're talking about, dude.
It's obvious that they're weekend at Bernie-ing this. You know, they got like strings on him and sunglasses on and shit, and he's just like lurching around on the beach, or he may be lobotomized. I don't know.
Yeah, any of those things are possible. It's entirely true.
What were you talking about?
Me?
No, Sarah. What do you think is happening in North Korea right now?
I don't know. I don't have any idea because I haven't been on Reddit because I've been way into Animal Crossing. So, like, Murphy said something about she thinks he's dead, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But
It was
there's
something
no
wrong with his
news.
brain, like, or he had to go undergo brain surgery for something,
No.
or some kind of
I thought
surgery.
he had a heart attack.
Heart. He had, according to a Japanese publication, a stent inserted in his heart. And there were two basic problems. One was that he is a high-risk patient, and I mean that in more ways than one. He's
What? Really? He's so fit.
Well, he is obviously a
slim.
natural judo champion and an
Right.
accomplished equestrian, in
Right.
addition to being a world-class polo player. And
let's not talk about how handsome he is.
well, I mean, that all goes without saying. He is indeed the dear leader. However, despite all of his handsomeness and his many athletic championships, despite all of that, he is also morbidly obese, as it happens. And
You have now been banned from the Pyongyang subreddit.
so he's high risk in that regard. And then, in addition to being high risk from being a fat son of a bitch, he's also a high risk for the surgeon, right? Because the surgeon is like, if I screw up on the dear leader's stent, I'm dead.
Yeah, a
So
lot of pressure.
Well, and so that's not really where you want your surgeon to be. You kind of
No.
want your surgeon
Mentally.
relaxed. You know, you want your surgeon to feel like this is going to work out for me.
Right.
So, but he didn't. He felt like, he was scared, and so that contributed to some issues. And so the estimates range from he's fine, like you said, Nick, to he's incapacitated and in a vegetative state to he's secretly croaked. So we don't know yet. but I'm
To their weekend at Bernie-ing him.
That's a new theory. I think it's probably an accurate one. They're going to prop his fat ass up in an armored car, drive him around, like you said, have strings on him so that he waves.
Or instead of strings, this could be Weekend at Bernie 2020. Obviously, we have better technology now. What they would do is they would fit him with an exoskeleton underneath his suit, put the sunglasses on him, graft the sunglasses to his face so they don't ever come off.
Project
And-
them at all times.
Yeah, and they just have the exoskeleton underneath Kim Jong Un's suit. And he just like shakes people's hands and shit.
He could do that, or why not just a hologram?
A hologram.
Yeah, a hologram.
A hologram can't grab your child and kiss it on its tender little forehead.
As far as you know. No, but I would say, in all fairness, they're going to try, if indeed he's dead, they're going to try and keep the mystery of whether or not he's alive or dead going for some time. Because the instant he's dead, there is a power struggle.
I was gonna say there's no successor.
There is no successor except for his young and tender sister, who is not much older than you, Sarah.
Yeah.
And-
Well,
and
because like his
Ooh.
kid's only like 10 or something, right?
That would be
He doesn't
fun,
have any
though.
children.
Have a female dictator in North Korea, you know? A little spice it up. Maybe a Bloody Catherine type deal.
Maybe. The thing is that the dynasty has, for the last 3 generations, been male to male to male. So how do you, I mean, it's still in the family at this point, but how do you make that transition from, the god to the goddess? It's going to be tough.
She's gonna have to kill some people to make a point,
That's
like how you
the
find the
twist.
biggest dude in the fucking
No.
yard, and then you fucking kick him in the nuts, just like that. She's gonna have to kill some motherfuckers, Go with
Except, here's what I think they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're gonna embrace transgender surgeries, and then she's just going to become a man.
So they're going to put a wiener on her? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I see.
because that's
That would be
the most
fascinating.
important part
Yeah,
of
just
being a
slap
leader
a
is having
wiener
a
on her.
wiener. Yeah.
Go ahead and slap a wiener on her with some spackle. We'll call it good.
I
Be an interesting
You're
way to
right. Let's
solve
just
that
stick it
problem.
straight on her forehead so there's no question.
Let's spackle a wiener straight to her forehead. Call it good.
Right.
That's
Progress
lunch.
just goes in a totally different direction.
Yeah, kind of a North Korean unicorn, you know?
Yeah, the old North Korean unicorn, they call it.
Right, classic. Everyone knows about it.
It's an ancient tradition. That's the protocol. If there's only a woman left to succeed, they must turn her into.
In fact,
a
I think it should be
mystical-
her deceased brother's wiener.
Of course, naturally. I thought that's what we were, or at
I
least
thought
a
we were all
plaster
talking about
mold
that,
of it.
Well,
So in this universe, it's better to be transgender than to be a woman in society. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Like to
in
be a
North Korea,
transgender
not in this whole
in North
universe,
Korea.
but just
Okay,
in North Korea.
just in this specific North Korea.
And only if you
Correct.
are the last surviving heir of Kim Jong Il.
right, specifically.
So that's the only scenario. So not
Yes.
everybody it would be
Whoa.
cool, but only in this situation.
Yes.
Okay.
In North Korea.
Okay. No, I could see that actually. If
Yeah.
just as a one-time thing. You know?
Specifically North Korea, specifically this person, specifically the
only.
last surviving heir
Well,
of Kim Jong
The
Il.
family.
But they wouldn't actually say it though or something. They'd like take her out, you know, and then suddenly a brother reemerges, but you never see the sister again. Maybe.
No, what it would be is they would
I
say
mean, that is kind of what happens with transgender surgery.
they would have like a what's it called? A fucking a union, whatever the fuck they call it in North Korea, where the leader gets all the TVs just changed to the same fucking channel all at once.
Oh, yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
some dude sitting there, and
Yeah,
they're
national
like,
dress.
"Yeah, we have great news, everybody. The mystical and long sought after Korean unicorn has
Has appeared."
descended from the pantheon and is now going to rule our great and honorable society." And then Kim Jong Un's sister, with his deceased penis spackled to her forehead, will enter
a
stage
model,
right.
A model
Yeah.
of it. If not actually the.
If not actually the diseased and deceased flesh that was once her brother's penis,
Right.
then it would be a plaster
So-
mold of the diseased penis.
So
Either way.
is this like an accessory, like a hat, or is this have
No,
to
no,
be
no, no,
like,
no. It's
It's
spackled.
grafted.
It's
Yeah.
spackled onto her forehead.
Yeah.
You understand?
But
That
does
stuff they use on the wall.
Is it like so like rubber cement? So in that case,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
the
yeah.
dead penis rot off her head?
Well, that's
or
why it's a
something would just
plaster
fall
mold.
Yeah,
apart,
that's the plaster mold part.
or- well, won't the plaster mold fall apart at some point?
Well, every night when she goes in, one of her many manservants will reapply the plaster mold and
Right.
re-spackle it to her forehead. And
Yeah.
then he will be killed because he knows too much.
Right.
And
And-
they'll have to hire a new one. But, that's standard operating procedure.
yeah, in
Stop.
godlike cults, which
Yeah.
really North Korea is. Hey, by the way,
Okay.
Noah, thanks for joining us. Noah's in an undisclosed location in Northeast Florida, swamp country. And joining us also, Elsie from the undisclosed location on the East Coast. Hello, Elsie.
Hello, I tried to join from the road and was denied.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that I didn't see that attempt.
Zoom
to
has
join.
new.
Yeah, I was
security
denied
measures
for
and-
like 5 minutes.
Well, it's so.
Well, and it. You know what else,
What else?
Elsie? Dad wanted to give your news, so
Of course,
that's
he
it.
did. And he certainly didn't want to be interrupted with my horse shit.
No, that's none of that is true. I always want to be interrupted with your horseshit. So go ahead.
Well, I don't know what you told, so why don't you catch me
Well,
up on what I've done for the week?
Well, I told him you made a garden. And I said,
Which is pretty
I
cool.
knew she'd be pissed off because I disclosed her news on her behalf.
Hmm. Couldn't have waited, huh?
Well, it was, I mean,
I mean, he
The
told me on the
uncertainty-
phone earlier.
The uncertainty was hanging in the air, like a
The
specter.
uncertainty was, Elsie's trying to join the meeting. Fuck her, I'm telling her news.
I'm going to go ahead and tell her news real quick before I let her in.
exactly.
None of that happened. None of that happened. I just want you to be clear on that point. I mean, there was no ill intent on my part. This feels like a sitcom where Dad's in trouble. That's
mean,
what it
this-
feels like.
Oh, you mean Dad's a buffoon? Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, that's why Dad's in trouble, because he's a buffoon. Typically speaking.
Dad's a Buffoon would be the title of the series, and Dad's in Trouble would be the title of the episode.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, yeah. And every
Dad's in
episode-
trouble. 3.
Right. And every episode would begin with Dad's in blank.
Yeah.
Or Dad's X. Dad
Dad's
is
in
doing this.
feces. Dad's in
Right.
urine.
Well, so I will share what would really be pop culture, but would be other news then that I could tell which is that we've started watching a new show on Netflix called The Midnight Gospel.
Oh yeah, that's a great show.
It's fan
Fucking
fucking
crazy show.
What,
Crazy
I've been
show.
telling everyone to watch it.
What's it about? It's about reality. All right.
What it is it's Duncan Trussell. Do you know who that is? Duncan
No,
Trussell?
dude.
He's
No,
a comedian. He has a podcast. He has people on his podcast and they talk, but they animate the podcast and add like a story to it such that Duncan Trussell is this guy who's interviewing people for a space cast, and he has this universe simulator. He sticks his fucking head in the universe simulator and goes to all these different universes and interviews these people from different timelines and shit.
So is this the podcast or is this the show? Or the show just has the
show.
podcast is animated and the show is just a thing that he's in.
No,
The
they're
animation is
they're
this
one and the
character-
same.
Yeah.
Okay,
the
they are
animation
one
is
and the
this
same.
character
All right, all right.
doing a podcast. And so every planet he shows up on, he just meets this random person and they start having these very in-depth discussions about the core of our essence and the things that matter and what death is and what that means about life.
And the nature of the
That's
universe.
a lot of existentialism, man.
That's the way it
Full of
is.
existentialism.
Trippy, homie.
yeah, but it's really good.
That's
Really
the way
well
it is
done.
with Duncan Trussell. Every time he's on any podcast, he always gets into like he's got all these stories about how psychedelics have like opened his mind to, and then it always goes to that, which is very cool. You wouldn't know that it's a podcast just watching this show. I just listen to podcasts day in and day out, so I could tell that's what it was. But they just took the audio and animated over it.
And I will say I will probably be more of a follower for the podcast because while the visuals are very trippy, they're a little too trippy for me at times.
Yeah, they're a little distracting because every world he goes to is in an apocalypse of some kind. So the whole world is falling apart while he's doing these interviews, and so the visuals are unbelievable. I've heard it described. I read a review that described The Midnight Gospel as the anti-Rick and Morty because it always has a very deep point. And Rick and Morty, oftentimes the point is that existence has no point.
There is no point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole nihilist thing, right?
Exactly. Nihilism.
Interesting.
You know, it's nihilism. There's nothing there.
Yeah. I just saw the trailer for it on Netflix, and it looked trippy, so I was like, I'm in. And then I watched it, and I was like, okay, this is Duncan Trussell's podcast, and they're just animating over it. Either way, though, I like it.
And I'm in.
Yeah, and I'm in also still.
Well, you know, Brad basically doesn't want to hang out with us. And yet the show was on when he
Naturally.
came home from work. And an hour and a half later, he was still hanging out watching it with us.
So that's why we like it. It's family time.
It's like a little treat you can coax him out of his kennel with.
Exactly. Now, randomly, may I say, Sarah, you're looking very regal in your throne there. Is that a
Those
new
chairs
thank
are
throne?
so comfy, too.
It's my it's my dining room chair. Like
That
we
is
have
fucking
king and
tripping.
queen, whatever dining room chairs, and I was tired of sitting on the peasant chairs in my work office. So yes, this is my work office chair now.
It definitely makes our king and queen chairs look like horseshit.
It's just the wingbacks. You know, the wingback really makes it look throne-like.
Yeah, but it is
Let me tell
comfy
you-
as fuck, too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you also, you can't see the destroyed sides of it, so that helps.
Yeah. The cat really had its way with it.
Right.
There's a throne. It is mine.
Yes. Well, hey, so we did get some user mail
Okay.
from our third listener. As you know, we have now, I think 3 or 4. We have a handful of regular listeners, including,
Wow.
and not least of which is Chris, of course, and Ben. Both
Yes,
Chris
big
and
time,
Ben, regular listeners. We shout out to them regularly. But we should also shout out to Danielle, because how long has it been since Chris or Ben graced us with listener mail? The answer is it's been a long time. And so, Danielle, you know, we owe you a hoodie, okay? We need to get you a hoodie.
You can't have mine, though. Back off.
Yeah, or mine. I mean, I like mine, but, you know, when
We're out of Lucy's. We're going to have to give up our own
No,
shit at this point.
it's getting time to order a whole new, you know what we need to make? We need to order a Shin Show mouth coverings, face masks.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh my God, it's
That's a good
Mouth
idea.
coverings.
Good.
Yeah.
Mouth
that's what we-
coverings.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
just
made it sound like a retainer.
Yeah, like a mouth guard,
Pencil dams.
mouthpiece.
Well, I mean,
Grills. We're going to get grills, folks.
Fuck
actually,
yes. No, I'm down for grills. I am down for grills. Let's
I
do
was
that.
thinking more ball gag,
Diamond
actually,
encrusted.
when I thought mouth covering, but, you know,
Oh
obviously
my
I'm a
God.
minority there.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Dad gets a ball gag this week on Dad's a Buffoon. All right.
Is
Anyway.
this a Pornhub fucking series?
I know. Unsubscribe.
All right. How do I unsubscribe from this content? All right. So let's hear what Danielle had to say this week in this week's listener mail, shall we? So Danielle writes as follows. I hear you all talk about TV shows every week and have yet to hear anyone bring up Killing Eve. Fantastic BBC show with great actors. MI6 assassin plot. First 2 seasons on Hulu. Latest season currently running on BBC America. Killing Eve. That's her recommendation. And then she's 4 episodes into Devs by FX on Hulu. And it's an interesting show. Mystery, psychological, thrillerish. Definitely trying to figure out what exactly is happening on that show. And then I lost the email because, you know, my phone is misbehaving. And then here we go. In Mission Get Pete to Watch Anime, I am suggesting 1, Full Metal Alchemist on Netflix. Make sure it is not the Brotherhood edition. I think
Wait,
that's
what?
Whoa. Why
Well, hang
not?
on, hang on.
Brotherhood is
Whoa,
the
whoa,
superior.
Step the fuck
Brotherhood's the superior version, and that's all there is to it. Continue.
Okay, all right. Cowboy Bebop on Hulu.
That's
Oh,
a good one. Yeah.
So
Okay,
good.
and
that's-
Avatar: the Last Airbender coming in May to Netflix.
Well, that's not an anime whatsoever, but that is also a phenomenal show, and you should watch it. Very fucking.
It is
good.
a good show.
So
Mhm.
typically we get a question and then I'll kind of give our answer. How are we supposed to react to this?
I can react to the other things. So what?
yeah.
Let's go back over this anime shit again, okay?
All
That
right.
first comment, make sure it's not Brotherhood. If she could have listed reasons why, I would appreciate that. But I'll tell you this right now: Brotherhood is the one that's more. Every anime, most animes, 99% are made from a Japanese comic called a manga. Okay, in Japan they have comics, a lot of comics, just like we do here, but they're not superhero. Well, you know, some of them are, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Brotherhood is more. Instead of manga, I'm going to put this in. We're just going to say comics, okay? Brotherhood is more true to the comics.
Fair enough. All right. So what's
She just
wrong
likes
with?
she just likes the storyline of the original one better.
Well, the
The original
storyline
one's
of the
so
original one
dark.
is pretty good.
Oh, gee.
You
How
could
would
watch
you know,
it both.
Sarah, or are you Danielle?
Ooh.
We've had this discussion at length.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I got a bunch of fucking things to add to that list. First off, if Danielle hasn't seen Parasite, she needs to watch that. That should be on everyone's fucking list. Second off, Van Helsing.
Never.
Yeah, need to watch that. Okay.
The movie or the show?
There's an
No.
anime, Van Helsing.
Sorry, just Helsing, not Van Helsing, just Helsing. But yes, there is. And there's 2 versions of that. One which is more true to the comic and one which isn't. Now, the one that's
Hey.
more true to the comic, those are hour-long episodes. And normally I suggest that you watch anime in Japanese because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to experience. Right. That's how you're supposed to hear the shit, and you use subtitles. But in this one, I recommend, if you can find the English dub, which is very hard, to watch Helsing in the English dub because there's a character named Father Alexander Anderson who is like a vampire hunter, and he's like this crazy fuck from Scotland, and he's got a really cool Scottish accent. And he's like one of the main antagonists.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing you say is that in addition to Danielle's list, you would add Parasite to that first and foremost.
First and
Th-
foremost.
Then you would
okay.
say Full Metal Alchemist. Why not watch both? Why deprive myself? And
You
then
should watch
finally
both.
Helsing, both versions, but try and find an English dub.
Yeah. Yes. Very
okay,
much
if I've
so.
got time on my hands. Noah, do you have an anime recommendation? I know you do.
Well, the Miyazaki films for sure. I mean, if you haven't done those, Spirited Away.
Yeah.
My neighbor
Ghibli films,
Totoro
yeah,
is
yeah.
more of a do something else in the background. It's kind of boring. I don't know. I mean, it's cute, but it's really boring.
Also,
Anya is
there's
fucking
more
awesome.
to that
Anya's
list,
great.
though. You go.
Yeah,
you continue, Noah. You continue. Because I got
No,
one more.
Noah, where do you stand on dubs versus subs?
So like I believe that the sub is definitely superior in the way like getting the tone of the show.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But there are good dubs out there, and for like Cowboy Bebop, I love the dub for Cowboy Bebop. I watched the whole show. In
Full
dub.
Metal Alchemist is another one that I like the dub for.
I do
but
like the dub
Vic.
in Full Metal Alchemist too, actually.
Yeah,
'Cause I,
Brotherhood.
Whoever does Ed, Vic, whatever his name is, I like everything that he does. So
also, Dragon Ball Z is the classic. Everyone likes the dub better than
no,
the sub.
do not. Oh, I thought you were gonna say do not. Do not
No.
watch Dragon Ball. Nobody
no,
has the
Dragon
time.
Ball Z. See, here's the thing.
Watch the
Well-
abridged version on YouTube.
The abridged version on
Yeah.
YouTube is so goddamn funny. It is fucking hilarious. I would actually highly recommend you watch Dragon Ball Z abridged on YouTube. Because
I'll
I
look
may have
before
gone
you-
over this before, but I just was looking for an abridged version of Dragon Ball Z, right? Because they draw shit out.
Because there's 5 million episodes of Dragon Ball Z per character arc, and there's
Well-
25 characters.
No, that's not true. If there were fucking
Villains.
per character arc, that would okay, yeah, villains, yeah. Well, and it's so much more complicated.
There's a lot
than
of
that.
episodes.
There's a lot of
Okay.
episodes. There'll be something like, yeah, the planet's about to blow up in 5 minutes, so we got to finish this fight in 5 minutes, and then it's
There were
35
enough-
episodes later. That,
There were enough episodes that I literally watched it my entire childhood, and I've never seen an episode twice.
Well, that's impressive.
Okay,
considering
but
your
anyway.
childhood lasted 27 years.
Exactly.
right. Yeah, I forgot.
I like
what
the
else.
7 Deadly Sins one.
7 Deadly Sins is fucking great. Anyway, Dragon
Yeah.
Ball Z Abridged, it's those guys dubbing over the shit themselves. And I don't know how that's legal, because at the beginning they're like, hey, this is just a fan-made parody. Please watch the original release. But it's like, watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged on YouTube. That's all I
Okay.
can say. Very good.
All right. Excellent.
The first 13 episodes of Sword Art Online are really good, and then takes a weird left turn that it doesn't recover from in like the last 13 episodes,
Yeah,
where it gets
didn't
like
get
kind
to
of
that.
rapey and dungeony, and it was
Ooh.
not. It was not.
Wasn't your
It was just
bag.
weird. It was just
Wasn't
weird.
into
No,
Sword
it was
Art
just
Online.
weird.
All right.
It was a little fan servicey in the wrong way. I mean, it's always the wrong way.
I
but it
don't
was the
like
worst
that
way.
either. There's a lot of things, like a lot of different animes with the fan service, like so much over hypersexualized shit where I'm like, okay, can we get
Yeah.
back to like the fighting, please? And
Yeah.
like get back to
Yeah.
why I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I agree with that especially. And like with that show, like I said, the first 13 episodes are phenomenal,
show
which
is
is why
this?
I still recommend.
Sword Art Online is
Sword
what
Art
he's talking
Online.
about. Which is
Sword-
about
Yeah.
a guy who gets, there's actually a number of animes like this, but it's about a guy who, there's like in the future a super immersive virtual reality game. Like
It's
you
essentially
go,
like the Matrix. It's
yeah, you
just
put the
like
helmet on and you're there, but then you get trapped. Like you try to take the shit off and you can't leave, so you're stuck in the
Yeah.
fucking game.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the premise of the show.
And it's called
And then
what
they have
again?
to live in the game.
Yeah, it's
No,
called
Art
Sword
Online.
Art Online.
I see.
And it was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it still is.
All right. We can check out Sword
Have you
Art
seen
Online.
Overlord, Noah?
No, I have not.
The anime Overlord. It's the exact same premise. It's this dude. The game is shutting down, so he's like he was one of those dudes who like had a guild and they like all had no life to make sure that their shit was all tricked out, and they all had, it's like a monster guild. They all take on these fucked up monster forms because that's like their gimmick. And then like the game's
Oh.
about to shut down and he's like, let me just look over everything we did. Everyone has quit by now. They moved on with their lives. He's like, I'm just going to look one last time before it shuts off. And then he looks and then he's like, all right, well, server's down. I guess it's time to log out. And then he can't get out.
Yeah, he's
but-
trapped. Okay.
Yeah, but like this one is really fucking cool because he was like one of those people who like no life to the game. So he's got like all this ridiculous, like the tower that he built with his friends who are all gone now. It's just him there. It's fucking insane. It's really good.
And it's called what?
Overlord.
Okay, so we got Overlord, we got Sword Art.
Art Online.
Right, Sword
But
Art
Noah's
Online.
point about Sword Art Online is you watch the show and then it kind of gets weird.
Just watch 13 episodes. Like when it first seems like it's ending, just say it ended and be like, yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
just
show ended.
take
It was
that as
pretty
the
good,
ending.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
and be
dude,
like,
Attack
all right,
on
it's
Titan,
over.
bro.
Yeah,
Attack on
Attack
Titan.
on Titan's a good one. Now, I was gonna say Attack on Titan
Essential.
and Fairy Tale if you have too much time. However,
Fairy
to
Tales.
both of those,
Ooh.
well, Fairy Tale
It's good, but
takes
it's like-
some cooler turns. It's long as fuck. That's what I said. If you have too much time and it gets a little too anime, but
It does
fucking-
a lot.
for both of those, the manga is the better way to go if you are actually interested in the stories of either of them.
Okay, well, man
Because,
alive.
like the Attack on Titan
No, no,
manga is
no.
actually way more finished than
It
the
is
actual
way more
manga.
finished, Noah, but when's the last time you've watched Attack on Titan? What's the last season you saw?
I thought I saw 3.
The third season? Because like at the third, I'm pretty sure it was the third one just dropped, or the fourth one. I
have
watched
they
it
revealed
all.
it's an island yet?
Yes. Yeah. At
Okay.
the end of this season, they like
Spoilers.
bust
Spoilers.
everything down. Well, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything.
Well,
even
I've
if
known
you-
that for like over a year.
Me
but-
too, right? Because I watched the first season, and then this is what happens
you
with
read them.
animes that I really like. Like I
Yeah,
watched the
you
first
go out.
season, and I can't. They don't have anything more, so I get on the Wikipedia and I just read everything
Like a
about.
fool.
And I just know everything, and then I just wait for it to come out. That's what I do.
I go through and read all the
That is
fucking
the
manga,
opposite of what
dude.
I do.
go.
Well,
balls deep in it.
the Wikipedia has they like have the manga things
The clip
laid
notes.
out. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you do that with Attack on Titan, except the space between the first season and the second season is like 3.5 years. Like
Yeah.
in real time, it took them that long to make
Yeah.
the second season.
Okay.
And so a lot of people were like uninvested with the story by that point.
Like me, for example.
Right. But I saw the first
In
season.
this conversation.
Right, because this discussion has gone on like,
10
Okay.
years.
Oh, yeah. But guess what? I'm going to fucking
died.
finish it. Okay. Because I'm in this deep. So we're doing the damn thing. All right. So,
Balls deep.
yeah, we're in balls deep and we're not done till I bust. Okay.
Eyeballs
Yes,
better.
and Attack on Titan only has like 70-something episodes. And when we're talking like
Only
fairy tale, that's in the
70-something episodes. That's a lot of
200-something episodes. Anime, that's nothing.
feel like
No, that's
Naruto
nothing.
has like
That's
fucking
nothing.
in the hundreds of like 600. One Piece has
Hold
like
on.
over fucking
let
700,
me just
800
finish my
episodes.
point here. My point is that the twists and turns in Attack on Titan are never touched in the first season, because the first season is all these giant people are coming and biting people's heads off, and it's really graphic and shit, and it's really grim and dismal. So it's like,
Like,
you know,
everybody
it keeps you
dies.
coming back. Yeah, everyone just gets eaten alive, right?
It's like
in
Game
front
of Thrones.
It
Yeah.
sounds
Okay.
great.
Okay. Right.
I mean, you're
Sounds
not selling
great.
it, dude.
So you watch it, and then you look up. I looked up the rest that happens, and the point is, there's so many more. Just gets crazier, you know.
gets
There's
better
so
and
many
better.
twists and turns, but then the seasons
pretty
don't come
good.
out for years at a time. So, but now what I'm saying is, now they have released 3 or maybe 4 seasons, however many it is. I watched them all, and at the end of the last season they released, they drop all the knowledge on you. So
Oh,
you're
I
like,
see.
holy shit. Then it all makes sense. All the fucking, because it's like, why are giant people eating us? What is that? You
Yeah.
know, where do they come from? What's the dealio?
So you got to wait till the 4th season to get that hot knowledge, huh?
Yeah, you do. But like all throughout that, these people are slicing each other's fucking fingers off and like, you know,
Okay.
biting each other's head. Like, dude, it's
And
so
you got to
gory
realize,
and-
if you can binge watch the whole thing, it's fucking great, because you get like
great.
more and more along the lines. But like, we had years and years apart during a lot of it, which is why it was so
Yeah.
painful.
A
yeah,
long
that's
journey.
why it's painful. But now
All
that
right.
it's all compiled in one spot, it's
Is this painful?
Good
as
time to
hearing
watch
about
now.
it?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's painful as hearing about
yeah,
it.
you fucking
Well, it's
haters.
way
It's
dark.
easy for you to say over there, having never watched a fucking second of it. I promise you, if you watch the whole thing, you would be busting. In your
It's got a
I'm
bitchin'
against-
intro.
I'm against
give you that.
mission make Pete watch anime.
Yeah, there's sure.
Okay, I'm against
Why?
that mission.
What are you scared of,
and
Elsie?
I'm not so sure how I feel about Danielle's email in general. Like, who is she to come tell us what we need to be talking about and watching? Like, are you?
Well, we
part
did
of this
ask them to
podcast?
do
Did
that.
someone-
Well,
oh,
I mean,
no,
it is
you're fogging it.
recommendations. Yeah, no, that's
Elsie,
healthy.
why are you scared of anime? Did something
I'm
happen?
not.
Where did the anime touch
I
you?
want to dissect this fear of
When
yours.
I was a little girl, it
She was dressed in this plaid skirt and a white shirt, and anyway.
When Sailor Moon came on.
Right.
She felt
I
things.
never saw Sailor Moon. The first thing I saw was Howl's Moving Castle. Is that?
Great movie.
Yeah, Miyazaki.
And
Great movie.
I do like the movies better than the shows. I've seen a few movies where I'm like, okay, that was weird, and I don't fucking understand any of it. But sure, yeah, I just had an experience there. But a show, like, that's commitment. I cannot commit to anime at all.
So you say. Until you try it. It's like heroin. Everyone doesn't want to do heroin until they try it, and then they realize it's good
No.
for you.
Your dad watches
No.
Castlevania, and I managed to not look at more than 5 minutes of it. In
That seems
entirety.
like more effort than just watching it.
No, I'm busy with my phone. Thank God for phones.
Okay.
What about
Well,
One
I,
Punch Man?
can't
One
blame
Punch
you
Man's fun.
Taylor used to be
Look.
like that until I got one of those devices that forces her eyelids open. And now she loves anime.
Clockwork
She
Orange.
loves
All
it.
right. Do I need to reach out to Taylor?
I forced her to watch it, and she loves it now.
Her
What
little
did you
Animal
force her to
Crossing
watch
dude
exactly?
Does have a Naruto thing.
All right.
Little
Well,
robe,
so
which is-
forcing people to watch anime equals love. That's
It
what I'm getting
does.
from this.
It does. Look, there's got to be
Does
something
forcing
to it,
people to
right?
watch anime equal love?
Yeah, that's Nick's love language.
Well, there's got to be something to it, right? There's got to be a reason.
forced
why
me to
it's
watch
so
a
If
lot
you
of
want to
popular.
continue receiving coffee and popcorn and things in the mail, you're going to need your dad to stay married to me. So don't
Have
make me
you-
divorce him over anime.
What's the one with the powers? What's the one
I've
with the
received
powers?
0 popcorn or coffee in the mail.
Well,
Remember
really?
the one with
Yeah.
the
you hear
school with
that?
Don't
the
worry about
powers?
that. Don't worry about the popcorn.
Don't
fast
worry about
Jump
that.
guy. Yeah. Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte's good.
Oh, Akame ga Kill, one season. It's just
Have
one
you-
season. Everyone dies at the end, so it's all wrapped up with a nice little bow. Fucking great. Dude, there's
Hey, I
another
have-
one. It's called
No,
Gangsta.
no,
One season.
I'm pulling the fucking plug on this shit.
Nick,
Okay,
have you seen
here's
Charlotte?
the cliff
No,
notes.
I haven't, but I will watch that.
You guys
No,
can
it's pretty
take this offline. Watch Full Metal Alchemist. It's short and sweet and to the point. And
It's not
and then
short.
and then
There's better
and then,
ones than
and
Full
then,
Metal Alchemist.
And
Attack on
then
Titan's better than Full Metal Alchemist.
and then
I think.
figure out where you're at in your marriage.
Both of them are over 50 episodes.
That's fair.
Okay.
Noah,
Actually,
you've
that's good
seen
advice at
all of
any
Full
time.
Metal Alchemist, right?
I saw the first one when I was younger, and then I
No, but you
saw
haven't seen
Brotherhood
all of Attack
twice.
on Titan.
Okay.
Look, unpopular opinion. I'm just
I've
gonna
read
say
all of Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan's better, dude. It's better than Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay. Well,
No, dude, the story
knew.
sucks. I don't know.
God damn it.
Attack on
No,
Titan
God
the
is
damn
too
it.
story's
far
all
out
right.
of the way.
Whatever.
damn
Yeah,
it.
this is a conversation
It's
for a
too-
different
it's too
time.
far
God
out.
damn it.
And I
It's not
love the
too
time
far.
period.
How
Full
is it
Metal
more
Alchemist
far
is.
out than Full Metal Alchemist? If we're
How
talking
come
about
it's cool,
far out,
dude?
it's all far out. It's all stupid, you know.
I couldn't agree more at a certain point. I think we're there.
Amen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the war stuff and everything.
These
I think it's
fucking
cool.
haters over here, dude, never even tasted
Listen
the
here,
juice
nerd.
and still refuse to drink.
Well, look, let me just say this. Danielle, thank you for tearing our family
like-
apart.
It's just
Right.
normal
You
TV.
win.
Everyone likes to
wedge.
shit on cartoons,
The
bro.
wedge of anime.
You can have Peter's gear.
Man, I got to be honest with you. I didn't think that this would end my marriage and sever my relationship
one
with my
does.
children, but you know, but
Here we are.
but if that's what it took, Danielle, thank you. All right. Well, Danielle gets not only a hoodie, but at least half of my earthly possessions. Well done.
God, you guys are like little babies. I'm trying to feed you some carrots, and you're just slapping the spoon out of my hand
yeah,
every time.
Yeah.
And
No,
Nick-
thank
Nobody
you.
likes carrots, Nick.
Just shitting your little diaper and screaming.
I think Full Metal Alchemist asks deeper questions than fucking Attack on
Okay,
Titan does.
yes, all right, and I agree with
About
that.
God and shit like that.
I do agree with that. But there's more. It's more of a mystery in Attack on Titan, and you know, it's like
I mean,
you really
yeah.
don't expect it either with the betrayal. I don't want to ruin it for the people who are never going to watch it here on this podcast, but there's a huge that
Episode in.
betrayal.
I'm a
It-
season
I mean,
in.
yeah, it's all, I don't know. I like the storyline of
And
Full
when it
Metal
turns out it's
Alchemist,
those
and
three people that whole time, you know,
yeah, but
they
it
were, like,
teases
training
out
with
more.
them.
It teases out more evenly with Full Metal Alchemist. You know, it's more of a gentle flow of information than just a sucker punch. at
Depends
the
on
end.
which version we're talking about here. If we're talking about Brotherhood or the original version.
Yeah, you're right. I guess Brotherhood's more gradual, in my opinion. Than
I thought
All right,
that
guys.
Brotherhood was a little more succinct.
So
you know?
shall we move on? Just, I mean,
Please,
I'm
No,
not.
God.
we're going to talk about anime until the end. Till the
this is going to
bitter-
become an anime
bitter
podcast.
end.
God damn.
From tonight until the end
No,
of
you and Nick can start your own subsidiary anime podcast. You have plenty of material.
We could.
Okay,
I'll
so
have time.
you want to know here's some personal news.
Yeah, okay.
There's
sure.
a fucking squirrel eating all of the seeds in my bird feeder right now, live on
My
the
grandma
pod.
has that same problem.
Yeah, so what do you do about
He's a
that? I mean, you've got a weapon, don't you? Do you go out and shoot it? I guess that's not good.
Oh,
in the
dude,
city
you can
limits.
shoot it with. No, you can shoot it with.
If you
the
got a BB gun
22.
or a
You could-
paintball gun.
You could
You
eat
could
it.
just-
You could also. They have these. Sorry, never mind.
You could not have a bird feeder.
No, that's also an option. True.
But I want
you
the
could
bird
just say
feeder for
fuck
the
it.
birds.
I feel like
Well,
birds
just
have
switch.
an
What about
easier
bird
time
juice?
finding
Just-
food.
Just switch to bird juice. You know, the juicy bird feeders.
That's
That's
true.
what my nan does.
Bird juice.
Yeah, maybe.
Bird
Is that like-
juice.
Is that
Hummingbird
like
juice
fight
is
milk?
What
good.
are you talking about? Bird juice.
You
Like
know,
hummingbird liquid.
Yeah, it's like that
Oh, I
sugar
see.
juice the birds go for, but you shouldn't drink it because there's something in it that's only for birds. I don't
it's
know, my
it's
nan
bird
told me that.
juice. That's the
It's
secret
delicious,
ingredient.
It's fine. It does
I don't know.
not
My,
hurt
my
you.
nan puts
It
it in the
cures
feeders.
coronavirus.
That's not
Oh,
true.
really? It's
No,
made
that
of
is
malaria
untrue.
shit.
That is fake news.
Just
and you're
inject
taking
it
the remarks out of
intravenously.
context. Yeah.
Inject bird juice intravenously, and all thy ailments shall be cured.
Hey,
Oh,
so
Oh, that sounds like
we,
a knockoff, like muscle milk, you know? Bird juice, you know? Like
Oh,
fight
yeah.
milk.
man, fight milk.
As endorsed by Bird Person.
You
Hey,
could have Sweet D be the mascot.
so let me ask you this question. What movies would have been a lot shorter if the main characters just used a little common sense? And I'll tell you my answer at the end. Just movies that would have been better if someone had just used some
You-
common sense.
Well, first you said
There-
shorter. Second you said better. They're different.
Well, that's true. How about just shorter? Maybe shorter would have been better. Hard to say. I'll give you one example, right? So in Star Wars: A New Hope, R2D2 and C3PO climb into a pod and jettison out. And then there's a guy about to blast him out of space, and his superior officer says, I don't detect any life forms. And the other guy doesn't say, yeah, but don't we have like 50 robots on board that ship? I mean,
Yeah,
couldn't
what are we charging by the laser now? You don't do the budgeting, Terry. I do.
Oh, I love those movies. I
Yeah,
love
that's
them.
actually one of the responses in Reddit. Yeah. But that is a good example.
Yeah, because that's in that, the Family Guy episodes where they like do their own Star Wars thing,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Wait, don't fire it. There's nothing alive aboard." He's like, "What are we charging by the laser now?"
No wonder it
They're
seems
pro-
so
it's
funny.
probably quite expensive, though. When you think about
I
it.
don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
Lasers
think
ain't
so either.
cheap, dog. All right, it's a lot of energy.
I know, but it's like the Empire. Do they are they concerned about currency? Don't they have like?
I mean,
know,
they,
just
look, they were
planets
falling
at their
apart fighting
disposal?
these rebels.
I think if you have entire systems under your control, you can
They
shoot a
built
laser.
2 whole Death Stars, man. That's got to be expensive construction. I mean, you got to think about the overhead here.
You're thinking about.
And I mean,
thinking about
I
inflation.
do, are they union electricians too? You got to think about that.
Yeah.
right.
Star
What do you
Wars,
mean
the
2
Union
kids
edition.
blew up the Death Star? Do you have any idea how much money I still owed on that? Do you know what this is going to do to my credit? Who are they? What the fuck is an aluminum falcon?
But actually, my answer to what movies would have been shorter, or had someone used common sense, and my answer is all of them. Basically,
Yeah.
all of the movies are predicated on somebody doing something stupid, basically, and then trying to recover.
Like,
from it.
yeah, John Wick murders a whole mafia over a dog.
Yeah. Well, they had it coming for what they'd done to his dog.
I mean, no, I agree with it, but at the same time, like, man,
Yeah, I know. All right, so
there's a lot of
yeah.
people to kill.
Yeah, there are. He does
Yeah, but
kill
your
an
wife's dead. What
extraordinary
else
number
you
of
got to
people.
live for?
But after you
Yeah,
kill
no,
him,
I mean,
after
fuck
that.
it, right?
All right, so obviously no one else here can think of a movie that would have been shorter.
I was
Okay.
going to say like Back to the Future
really.
movies, but I've never actually seen them. But I just felt like there was a lot of nonsense in there that could have been solved by some common sense.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
pretty much any horror or thriller movie, like, if anyone just decided to, like, call the cops and, like, stay inside and not go out to some risky party or something, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Yeah.
let's not go out to the abandoned warehouse at night or this creepy lake. Let's just hang out at home and play video games. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, somebody
right.
just done that, and, that ruins the plot of, like, Screams. And shit.
Yeah, it would have changed everything.
Actually, no, sometimes they come there. They come to the house. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they come back and then they get murdered there. So let me ask you this: what are some actual facts that sound fake but are real? And
Anything to do with
Um,
deep space.
well, that's true. I'm just gonna read a few of the top ones because I think they're interesting. You may or may not know this, but when Michael Jackson was filming a Pepsi commercial in the early '80s, his hair caught fire,
Yep.
and that was the exact middle of his life to the day. How about that?
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but true. Apparently,
Did you
according
know-
to Reddit.
Did you know only 72% of people think nicotine's unhealthy for you?
72% of people think what?
Nicotine is unhealthy for
Think tea is unhealthy for you?
Nicotine.
you.
Nicotine.
Nicotine.
Christ.
Yeah.
And I just came up with that one on the spot. But that sounds like a pretty, like that's a basic number. That's an average number. That sounds pretty believable.
Well, yeah, I mean, 43% of all statistics are made up, and we all know that.
See, you know what I mean? Exactly like that.
Okay, fine. But here's not a statistic.
You got to get a good odd number,
Here's a real thing. A Russian luxury SUV manufacturer attempted but failed to use whale penis skins for their luxury SUVs.
That bastard.
Oh, here's a fun fact that sounds like it's made up. That Pepsi once had the largest navy in the world for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, there was a bunch of old decommissioned World War II Russian submarines that Russia was just trying to dump off, for some cashes real quick. They're trying to make a move. And Pepsi was like, yeah, we'll buy those. And so they did. And
How did
then-
that get through the board?
I don't know, but then I think they had
What did
some
they-
ulterior motive, I'm sure. But
I was like, what are they gonna do with those?
they may have scrapped them or something, or sold them at a profit. I don't know. But
Oh.
for a while, Pepsi had the largest standing navy in the world.
Ground up the metal for their Pepsi cans.
They used to
Yeah,
do it on
that
their side
actually does
hustle.
make sense.
Yeah.
It does. So here's a fact for you, which I did not know. There's not a single bridge over the Amazon River. Not one bridge.
Well, yeah, it's really fucking wide.
Yeah, and also there's just creatures that will attack you at any point that you might be building that bridge. The start,
I've
the
seen
middle,
Jumanji.
the end. Yeah, like so many things will kill you. So no one's trying to do that.
Okay, that makes sense. By the way, I'm eating a cake pop that Elsie made, and man alive, is it good. Man, get those cake pops while they're hot. Hey,
Gather
what are you gonna
ye
do, mail us
K-pops
some?
while you may.
Yeah, hey, so can you guys get meat there in Nebraska? Despite
Yeah.
all the any
got
problems
meats.
with the meat supply there yet?
Nope.
No.
This will probably be the
Uh,
last place there's a problem with the meat supply.
That's
you
what
know?
I was thinking.
That's true. But also there was like so I shop at Aldi's a lot and they were out of chicken thighs for a while. Bone-in chicken thighs, but I
Yes.
don't know that that's necessarily a supply thing so much as it was a
Demand
Aldi's
thing.
thing, like a time
Yeah.
of day when you go. If you go in the morning, they're more likely to have their shelves stocked. But I was surprised by like if you go to Target, Walmart's not so bad, but the shelves are a lot more bare and they do have like restrictions in place. Like you can only buy 8 dry goods and
Well, let me
It's
tell you
weird.
something. They've closed down a
All the-
number of beef packing plants, a number of pork packing plants. More than a quarter of U.S. pork packing production is offline right now because of coronavirus.
I noticed there was some news. I listened to NPR in the morning, and there was a plant in South Dakota that went offline, and then there was a plant somewhere else fairly nearby that went offline because of Corona. And yeah, it's coming. But I also was listening to a bit. I don't think it was by NPR. I think it was by Journal, maybe the Journal is what they call themselves. Anyway, about how because all the restaurants are closed down, there's a lot of farmers who have to dump supply because they don't have anyone to buy it, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting.
I've heard that about like potatoes, especially. I heard some dude like gave away like millions of pounds of potatoes because
Yep.
nobody would buy them.
Yeah,
Yep, this
so
was a dairy farmer that they interviewed, but same principle.
yeah, the bottom line is that a lot of these processors they have no place to take their production because all of the restaurants, Cisco's not really operating, and they
Right.
do a lot, So if you don't have the restaurant industry getting this food, then you just have this tremendous oversupply on the one hand. On the other hand, you have processing facilities that are closing down altogether because their employees are getting infected. So you've got
Well,
this double squeeze on producers. Producers of food sometimes don't have a place to take it, so they end up dumping it, while consumers aren't getting the output of these plants that are closed, so they're paying more. So everybody's getting squeezed. It's not good.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, it's not that bad on the consumer end, but it's like the oil.
Yeah.
How they overproduced all their oil, and now freaking they're like paying people to take it off their hands because they can't store it all.
Yeah,
that's
there's like not any more storage spots or whatever.
Yeah, this whole thing is crushing demand for everything. So that's going to be a problem as we go forward. But it's not a problem. Getting a fine meal from Ziff's. That's right, Ziff's fine dining in a relaxed continental atmosphere in the southernmost
slope.
part of New Zealand. That's right, it's the southernmost restaurant in the world as far as we know. And they're now serving takeout only at Ziff's.
Actually, so Danielle has
Yeah.
a friend who lives in New Zealand, and like they're on total lockdown, right? So they did some sort of trivia, and they were talking after they were done, and like they can't even go for a drive. Like here in America, where the points are made up and don't matter or whatever, the rules are made up and the points don't matter. If you wanted to go for a drive, you could go for a drive. But in New Zealand, if you get in your car and go somewhere, you'll get pulled over and asked, "Hey, where are you going?" And then if
Right.
you say to the store, you have to go to the store, buy something, and then come back and show the cop your receipt so you don't get a ticket.
Yeah, well, I'll
Easy.
tell you, they're real serious about it, and yet still they all speak with those funny accents. So what's that about?
Fools, buffoons.
Right? Who can take them seriously, even though they've had far fewer infections and coronavirus things and so on? Who can take that
Right.
seriously?
Well,
So-
not us here Americans.
Oh, not at all. Well, in any event, so yeah, so that's a concern. So I hope you all. We're going to buy a cow, is what we're going to do.
Some
You know, I don't
unspecified
like
amount of
cows.
cow.
You don't like cows? What do you?
don't.
What a cow ever do to you? You know?
Cause they're big and scary.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
A cow tried to run me over once. Is what happened.
He was drunk at the wheel. It was horrifying.
Ew, a cow
Yeah.
tried to run you over once?
Yeah. Look, I tried to help Murphy and her dad wrestle some cows into a fucking cow wrestling thing, and they're scary.
Well, they are scary, I suppose, when you're trying to wrestle them. But if you're just trying to, cuddle them, that's different, isn't it?
Are you gonna cuddle your cow, or are you gonna?
No,
like, milk it?
we're buying it. We're buying it, pre-slaughtered. I mean, no, post-slaughter.
Oh, you're
post-slaughter.
you're buying the meat of a cow.
Yeah, we're buying.
Do you have the
remnants of
room
a
for
cow.
that? There's a lot of meat on a cow.
Not a whole
Yeah, that's
cow.
are you gonna get a chest freezer?
No, we're gonna get a quarter cow.
That's
Well-
still a lot of meat.
We went to the wildlife safari park today, and they have like elk and stuff free roaming. And Murphy's like, I want to go elk hunting. And
Oh,
I said,
Mhm.
do you know how fucking big an elk is? Like, do you know how much meat we would have? We'd have meat forever.
that's a lot of meat to process. You'd give some of it away, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Don't be so sure.
You're right. I'm not. You got that smoker. You probably smoke you some elk.
I could do that.
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah, have you used your smoker yet?
We have. We smoked some salmon, and it was really good.
Man, you got everything over there. You got chickens. You got a smoker. You've got cats, kittens.
It's the good life.
You got Animal Crossing?
Yeah, you do. I see Animal Crossing on in the background there. You know why you can see that? Because she has a 75-inch TV screen, much bigger than her father's TV.
I
It's
don't
the good
think it's a
life.
dick comparison.
How big is
No,
your
it's-
TV?
It's not. It's just a thing comparison. It's a my daughter is living a
It's
better
a I
life
want to
than I am.
buy myself a 75-inch thing comparison.
Kind of, yeah. Man, these cake pops are delicious. I'm so sorry we can't give you a cake pop through Zoom.
I'm not sorry at all. They
Hmm.
can get their own goddamn cake pops.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's a kind of supportive stepmother
There's
you
some
kids
salt. I'm feeling some salt.
No, it's not that.
Kinda
It's
fair, though.
that because I have to eat at this gluten dairy-free lifestyle, if I'm actually going to go out of my way to make myself something delicious that I can have, I'm very mad about anybody having it. Like Peter and Brad are lucky I share equally. But if they have more than their fair share, I definitely let them know.
have. It's true. I
do
took
gluten-free
what did
thing?
I take that was an extra the other day?
Muffins.
I took an extra muffin, maybe 2 extra muffins. Anyway,
And you're
I
still
was-
married?
I was in
barely.
I was in Dutch. Let's just put it that way. I was in big trouble. I was in the doghouse. I was in the muffin house. So that didn't work out for me. I should have
Did you
been
know?
fair.
Here's some trivia that sounds fake or whatever.
Yes.
Because we've been doing trivia shows because we're bored. In Dutch, the Muffin Man rhyme or whatever,
Yeah.
he's not the Muffin Man in the Dutch, whatever. He's the Muscle Man.
Oh,
And
really?
he lives
Ooh.
he lives next to a fishery.
Interesting.
Sounds muy sensual. No?
No.
A muscly
Dutch?
man next
Sounds
to a
like the
fisher.
kind of guy you want working on the dam.
Got it. Well, yeah, it is Dutch after all. Good point. Well, so what's everybody doing this week upcoming?
Going to Jacksonville.
This is it, man.
baby.
All right, so you're going to Jacksonville. That, by the way, that sounded very much like the character from The Good Place when you said that.
Yes, and please, please, please wear face mask and take good care of yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What Jacksonville is widely regarded as one of the 10
Top
top
10
cities.
swamp cities in Northwest Florida.
Yes,
That's true.
Northeast,
Gainesville's pretty
Northeast.
high up there too, especially at Nick's Wing Dump.
Well, now Gainesville is kind of northwest Florida, though. It's kind of western.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not
Pretty
east.
central. It's not very west. It's pretty center.
Oh my
Anyway,
God!
anyway.
Yeah,
This sounds like
Jesus.
anime.
a billion times worse.
Yeah. So what are you doing this week, Nick? Same thing as last week?
Yep.
All right, great. So you've got a whole bunch of content. You're probably going to rewatch Attack on Titan.
Teen Titans.
No,
Teen
definitely.
Titans Go.
No, I love Teen Titans.
Okay, all right.
pretty
Maybe we'll
aight.
watch that instead.
Well, we have several weekends worth of Zoom birthdays in our lives. So we had a Zoom birthday party last night for Ralph Cole. This coming weekend is my best friend in Denver, Michelle. And I think we're going to dress formal for that. I'm thinking, mess dress and
Sequins.
formal.
Yeah,
For sure. Why not? And then the following weekend will be my sister's.
Nothing but the best for us. Nothing but the best. Well, so Sarah, you're going to keep on crocheting, obviously.
I'm going to keep doing my little crafty thing.
She's crafty.
She's just my type.
All right, very good. Well, I hope you all have a great week, and I am glad that we had a chance to get together again this week. A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. It's brought to you on a fake basis each week by Ziff's Fine Dining in Invercargill, New Zealand, and by the Church of Universal Energy and the Infinite Multiverse. If you don't know what that is, just send me your money and you can find out all about it. It's also brought to you by our 3 listeners, Chris and that other guy, and then Danielle.
Holy shit.
Sorry, I forget.
Ben.
I was
Does
gonna
he
say
even
Brillo.
listen anymore?
I don't know. The name Brillo stuck in my head. And I knew that wasn't right. So anyway, Chris, Ben, and Danielle, new addition, Danielle, thanks again for sending us a suggested list that divided the show and nearly ruined my marriage. Thanks for that. Be sure and join us again next week when we'll hear Sarah Shin say,
It's been a pleasure, and I almost mean that.
I think we're going to hear you say that right now. All right. Anyway, have a great week, kids. We love you.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, Father.
Oh, I'm supposed to say love you, bye? Are we
Yeah.
waiting on that?
Yeah.
Love you, bye.